This is part 2 of the high tea crochet quilt tutorial. In this part I'll show you how to sew the blanket stitch around the square. For this you'll need yarn and a needle. Now the yarn I used is Burnout Baby, which is a nice soft yarn for making baby things. But any fingering weight yarn should work. Just look for a little skein with a 1 on it on the package and that should be fine. And the needle I have here has a nice large eye, large enough that I can thread the yarn through it, and a nice sharp point because I do need to poke through a few layers of fabric and batting here. It is important for the crochet in the next step that I have the right number of stitches on each side. So I've made myself this little guide from a piece of cardstock. I've cut it about 4 1/4 inches long, and I've put a tick mark at every 1/4 inch. So I have 16 tick marks here to represent the 16 stitches that I need on each side. And instead of using a marker to transfer these to the fabric, I'm just going to take a safety pin and I'm going to pin my guide right to my fabric. There we go, quick and easy. And then I'll move this as I go around the 4 sides. Alright, I'm ready to start sewing. And I've cut myself a length of yarn here. For me it's about 3 arm lengths, 2.5 yards long. I want it to be nice and long so that I can make it all the way around the square in one go. I'm going to put my first stitch on the left here where I have my first tick mark, and I'm going to come up from behind right there and pull my yarn through. Whenever you're sewing with yarn, make sure that you pull it through nice and gently. It really wants to knot on you. Alright, now I'm going to leave this tail here, and that will get woven into the crochet after the next step. Alright, now I'm going to flip over my square, and I'm going to put my needle in the same place. So right where this tail is sticking out, I'm going to go down, but this time I'm going to bring my needle out through the edge there. Let's see. And get it focused. So it's coming out right on the edge of the fabric square. Turn it back around and pull this through gently. Alright, so now I have this loop that goes around the fabric, and that's my beginning blanket stitch. The next stitch and all of the subsequent stitches are going to go down into the fabric, so from the front to the back. I'm going to make the yarn go behind or under the needle here, and then I'm going to pull outward. Like that. See, it made this nice upside down L here with the yarn right on the edge of the fabric. And the next stitch, again, I'll go down into my fabric where the tick mark is, and I'm coming up right along my top stitching, the yarn behind the needle, and pull up and out. If you are pulling and you feel some tension, like it's about to knot, just pull it back from the other side and try again. Slow and steady wins the race here. And we keep going like this along the side. 1 stitch for every little mark on my paper. And this creates the little loops that we need to join our crochet in the next step. Now let me grab another piece I've got here, and I'll show you what happens once we get to a corner. So I've got 16 stitches along the side here, and then I've got 3 stitches in each corner. So all 3 of the stitches have the same base, but the top goes in different directions. So I'll go down right in the corner, and this one I will pull out toward the first side still. And now for the second stitch, I go down in the same place. Make sure my yarn is behind my needle. And this one I'm going to pull out right towards the point of the corner there. And one more stitch to get all the way around. Down in the same place, yarn behind. And this one I'm going to pull out toward the next side. There we go. So I've got 3 stitches in the corner here. On this square, that happened to be my last corner. So now I'm back at the beginning, and I'm just going to tie a knot here at the top of my first stitch. Go in. It doesn't need to be a pretty looking knot. It's going to get covered with the crochet. There we go. And again, I'll leave a nice long tail here, and I'll weave that in after the next step. So there you have it, the blanket stitch around the fabric squares for the high T crochet quilt.